Who did you talk to? What's going on? It's me. It's Mike Lepre. Legit Fantasy Football from LegitFantasySports.com. It's a Thursday night special. Lot going on. Big games this weekend. Joining me, as always, Brother Ray. Brother Ray, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great, King. How you doing tonight?
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to see who's the real teams here. If Buffalo is really going to be the team that they look like they're going to be, we'll see. But we need a genius in the house, and therefore I want to bring on Genius Kev. Genius, how are you tonight?
Doing very good, King. Good to see you, Brother Ray. Hope you're enjoying a few days. You still celebrating your birthday, even though it's a week or so past.
Yeah, I'm still old, Genius. So it hasn't changed. I haven't gotten any younger.
Definitely not.
So, gentlemen, how did you do last week? How did you feel about the way the games turned out? Is there anything that has shocked you? Have you any game that you just were blown away by, Brother Ray?
I actually went perfect on Sunday. Sunday was pretty good. I mean, it went just like I thought it would, and usually it doesn't ever go that easy. But I mean, right from the top, Baltimore came out, dominated. The Saints, started slow, but then they turned it on. And then the Browns, who I loved in that game, just because Pittsburgh is done, they showed it. They're not the team that they were at the beginning of the season. And it's a tough thing sometimes as bettors for us to look at and say, well, they're going to rise up. They're going to show who they are. They weren't that team anymore.
Was it 8-0? Was it 8-0 that they were before they lost the game, Genius?
What was who 8-0?
With their record?
Are you talking about the Bills?
The Steelers.
Oh no, they're 11-0. They went to 11-0. Then they fell apart.
Jesus.
Yeah, 11.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It really, really is.
And King and Brother Ray, I have to admit, I am embarrassed for picking the Steelers, and I have to go back through it. I already went through it once and try to figure out where I made the mistake. And there's they had a lot of parallels to the Patriots last year. Fraudulent team, out of gas down the stretch. But I for some reason, I talked myself into it that Cleveland without Stefanski and everything else we still wouldn't be able to pull it off. And I was an idiot for that one. Everything else I picked right. The teasers were strong. The only teaser I got wrong was one I had the Pittsburgh leg. This was a genius move by one of my friends. He did Washington. He teased Washington and Alabama, and he also teased Tampa Bay and Alabama, and middled it and won both. I thought that was a brilliant move right there because he was really showing he was thinking it both ways and hit it both. So we had a lot of opportunities. I'm pissed about Pittsburgh, and I can't deny it. I'm embarrassed for that pick because looking at it, it should have been an easy one.
So, there it is. All right. I don't know if that's me. All right. Now you know. What I want to talk about first, real quickly, was the draft. Before we get into the games this weekend and giving people winners, as we do, I wanted to go over the draft order, the top 10, say top 11 picks, and Brother Ray, I want to kind of have you give me just straight from the hip. Your best guesses kind of for what they're looking to do or kind of who you think you could see there. And I'll throw some names at you as we go. So let's start like this. We'll call this introducing players. So let's see. First pick is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Right now, really quickly, Brother Ray, who would you see the Jaguars taking? Do they take him?
I mean, it has to be a quarterback. I mean, there's no question. It has to be a quarterback. It's interesting because if they get the head coach that we think they're going to get, you wonder if Fields is in the equation.
It happened tonight.
So
they just announced tonight.
If that's a done deal, then you got to wonder if Fields is in the equation. Other than that, I would think it would be Trevor Lawrence, but that might be one of those things where we won't know right up until the draft, and they'll try to use that against other teams and try and hide what they're going to do. But with him now in the as the head coach, it's either Fields or Lawrence. Personally, I would take Lawrence.
All right, Genius, you have any complaints on that?
No, I completely agree with that. I'm disappointed with Lawrence that obviously one was a freshman, but the next couple of years they kind of flamed out, and but still he's kind of I think it's undisputed. I think he has to go first. I'd be shocked if he didn't. But what Brother Ray said, with Urban Meyer there, they might try to do a little gamesmanship. But I would be shocked if it didn't go that way.
All right. Let's see. Trying to get this here for you. Where are you, baby? Nope. What the Christ?
Uh-oh.
You guys, how are you guys?
I don't think he's on my list. I don't think he's coming out this year.
But I know. How are you guys with computers? Do you ever touch a button and it just does it explodes the whole computer? Have you ever done that? Or is it just me?
No, I don't know. It happens.
The camera moved. God damn it, even anyways. All right, so number 2. The number 2, unfortunately, by the way, I don't know if you watched, I did a Tuesday night special, and I basically did a thing where if I was an NFL rookie and I just got signed or drafted and I got called by every team, what would my reaction be? There was only 3 teams that I wouldn't want to go to. And it ended up being Cincinnati, Jacksonville, and the Jets.
Yep.
Those 3 organizations, for reasons that I came up with as I kept chiseling it away, I'm just not going there. You don't come out good. They ruin everybody. You know what I mean? But all right. So I'm sorry. My apologies. Let me just see if I can do this here. So second would be the Jets. What do the Jets do? What are the Jets doing? Are they staying with Darnold? Should they stay with Darnold? I think they should. I don't what do you think, Brother Ray?
I mean, I personally like Darnold. I think he has potential. However, he has been in the league a couple of years. I think at that position, the pick is definitely a quarterback. So either they're going to trade out for someone that wants a quarterback, or they'll take either Lawrence or Fields, whoever's left. I think at that point in the draft, because it's the number 2 pick, you have to get maximum value for the pick. And instead of reaching for somebody else, trade down, get extra picks, or take the quarterback there. So I would say, if I'm the Jets, you take the quarterback, you trade down for someone who wants that quarterback. That's what I would do at number 2.
Justin Fields? So the Justin Fields goes at number 2. It goes just like that, you think?
Yeah, if Lawrence goes 1, Fields goes 2.
Genius?
Yeah, they're in a tough situation because, and I heard somebody else compare it this way, what they basically have to do is evaluate what they know about Sam Darnold against what they don't know about either Fields or Zach Wilson. And that's the decision, right? It's W know versus W don't and all that. But if they could get a ton of value, if they could get a couple of extra picks for a team that really wants Fields or Wilson, I would say do it, keep Darnold. But the other thing that's intriguing, and I want Brother Ray's opinion on this, is what about that tackle, that monster? What is he, 6'6", 330 from Washington?
Oregon. Yeah, that's Penny Sewell.
Yeah.
Will be the number 3 pick, no matter which quarterback goes.
Okay.
Penny Sewell should be the number 3 pick. We might as well just talk about him now, King.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about the next Anthony Munoz. He's 6'5", 330. He's a perfect left tackle. He's great in pass protection. He can get out the second level, the third level. I've already been watching tape on him, and I've seen him bury at least 3 safeties getting to the third level. So he is the best offensive lineman coming out. It's not even close. He's probably the best left tackle in the last 5 or 6 years. Martin may be the only one I think that's close, but this guy's the number 3 pick. Talent-wise, he may be the best in the draft.
All right, so other than that, in this draft, names that like keep popping up, and then I've been researching them, checking out like their stats. I've learned not to use video because YouTube will drop us off sometimes. They'll cut that out of our show. We get edited, but what Micah Parsons? He's gonna probably fall anywhere from what 4 to 9. No, probably no further down than 9. Would you agree on that kind of? Because he's that talented as a linebacker from the college that produces linebackers. What do you think of Micah Parsons, Brother Ray?
He just had an altercation that that team's going to have to work through. I think it was a bullying situation bordering on some type of assault. Happened just recently over the weekend. So teams will have to go through that. Other than that, I mean, if you look at him on the field, he's one of those special talents. I think him and Sewell are the two, him, Sewell, and, a couple of receivers are the key talents in this draft. He's a perfect middle linebacker. He can play outside if you need him to. Can do it all. Really good at rushing the passer. Very angry player. He's unbelievable in space. As far as inside out, he just gets to the ball carrier. So he's one of those special linebackers. I put him in like a Kuechly type of class, and he may even be better.
Oh wow!
Nice.
Yeah, what I was gonna ask, Brother Ray, because you follow college closer than me, especially like a team like Penn State. I don't think I watch any of them. You think does he translate to like a 3-down linebacker, or is he gonna have to come off the field in sub packages, or does he stay on?
He stays on.
No, he excels in coverage. He can cover backs, tight ends. They've even had him shade wide receivers in some of the tape I've seen. So he's a 3-down linebacker. Any scheme. Usually these linebackers, they're either a 4-3 or you're a 3-4 linebacker. He can play any scheme. He can be the Will, he can be the Mike, he can be strong side. He can fit anywhere you want. So there's very few players like that just can come in and plug and play at any scheme.
True. Right. So you just kind of touched on tight ends, and there is a tight end in the draft. Oop, I keep dropping my Sharpies. Tyler Pitts. Kid's a monster. He's like that. He's that prototypical tight end that I would build in Madden, like the height and weight. Like the 6 what? He's 6'6". Well, how tall is the kid?
6'6", 240.
Like, come on. He's a beast. He's going to be a beast. Like he may be a top 10 pick. Like that's where he sits right now as a tight end. So how good could he be, Brother Ray?
I mean, red zone weapon. That's the biggest thing. Red zone weapon, really good as far as boxing people out. He knows how to use his size. A lot of guys that big, they really don't know how to use their size. He's a great route runner. Again, a lot of guys that big are not good route runners. They're just throw the ball up and grab it. He's got the talent to be, your next tight end as far as target. I don't. We'll see. I mean, the problem that I see with Florida is, they're not the competition. You look at some games he was there and some games he wasn't. So when he splashed, he really splashed, and that could be the talent that was around him because he didn't have really good talent around him. But I mean, you're going to see this is one guy in the combine who's going to wow him.
All right. So there's a group of wide receivers, a group of them, just from Alabama from the other night. Help me with the names now because I'm horrible. It's Devonta Smith, and then the other receiver who didn't play with the broken Waddle.
Yeah.
Waddle.
And there's Waddle, right? And then there's one more from Alabama. Or am I stretching myself? It's just those two, right?
Those are the big ones.
Those are the two that could go in the top 10, right? Those two.
Correct. They're first round picks. They're probably top 10 picks, both of them.
Which one do you like better? Because I got to watch the film on Waddle, and I didn't know how fast he was. He's laser fast. He's actually smaller than I just forget his name already. Devonta Smith. Smith?
Yeah.
Like, why I can't forget Smith? He's faster than Smith is, and Smith is a blazer, right? So they're both sub like 4.3 or in that area. But Devonta Smith looks skinnier because he's what, 6'1", 175, whereas this kid's 5'10", but he's 180, so he looks like he's in better shape. You know what I'm trying to say? And he's like a rocket. Which of the two would you want? The tall, skinny one that makes the kid from the other night who scored 3 touchdowns and a half, or Waddle who makes plays like that on the reg when he was in college? Like he's so fast, he'd get the ball and he's gone. So which of the two would you get first? Take first if you were any team, brother. Right?
I mean, I think it's Smith. I don't think it's even close. He's got the height. What he has too is the length. He has incredible length, long arms.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
very, very bendy and twitchy. Waddle has the straight ahead speed. He's got the edge on him there. But he's 5'10". Not a lot of receivers 5'10" are that successful in the NFL. The thing with Smith that I really like is that every single down, every route, he runs like it's his last route. And he has an effortless about him where it just looks easy.
All right.
And what's scary is, think about these two guys, Smith and Waddle, when they were in Alabama last year.
Jerry Jeudy.
By the way, they lost 2 wide receivers to the NFL in the first round.
Yeah.
In Ruggs and Jeudy.
Yep.
Imagine what those quarterbacks for the last couple of years have had for weapons.
Stupid. Tell my son that it was stupid. Genius, what do you think of that?
Yeah, Mike, King, I want to make a couple of comments and get kind of both your opinions on this. Like, if you look at the class of wide receivers, right? You got Chase, you got Smith, you got Waddle, you got Kadarius Toney from Florida. None of them are taller than 6 feet. The top 4 that I'm looking at listed, none of them are bigger than 6 feet. It's not until you get to Marshall from LSU, who's 6'3", 203. Now, I've always been a fan of and thought the ceiling was higher on these big, humongous guys, like someone that's like 6'4", someone like a Chase Claypool type. So what I'm curious for Brother Ray's opinion is someone like Smith. All the positives you listed, he can run every route. They schemed him a lot to get open. But he's 6 feet, he's 172. He's not a 4.3 guy. I think he's a 4.4 guy. Are we close to his ceiling? Or, you know what I mean? Like a Chase Claypool, I think he has a lot more potential. Whereas Smith, it might be a better pick, because he's much more polished and he could probably translate better. But are we closer to his ceiling?
I compare Smith to another receiver that I really liked coming out of college. He might have been my favorite college wide receiver. I think you may know his name, DeAndre Hopkins, coming out of Clemson. I think you know him pretty well, Genius.
Yes,
I tried to get him from you for the last 10 years, however long he's been in the league. 6'1", same height, slight build. The knock on him coming out, D-Hop, was that he wasn't fast enough. But when you watch the tape, he out-hustled everybody. He played like it was his last breath. I get the same thing from Devonta. He's got that length and it makes him taller. He can jump up. He's good at 50-50 balls. I mean, they just remind me of each other. So that's kind of what I look at when I see him coming out.
No, that's a good comparable. Sorry.
Let me take the other side of this, though, for a second and speak for Waddle. What I like about Waddle, all right, he's just bigger. He looks less likely to be injured. Like Smith has such a light frame. You know what I mean? Waddle is like 5'10", but he has muscle, and he literally is so fast that when you watch his highlights, you think you're watching something in the wrong speed. The dude makes the decision and he's gone. I mean, he has the greatest thing that you could have, that Deion Sanders type speed where literally I'm out. And he runs right by everybody. I mean, I've seen him run his highlights where he runs around the corner on cornerbacks. They just can't cut the angle. He's gone. You know what I'm trying to say? Like that kid might be like a superstar. What's the ceiling on him, Genius?
Yeah, that's a really good point, Mike. I just don't like the height. The height 5'10" is tough, and like small wide receivers have a hard time. Like in college, it's one thing. In the pros, getting around the corner is tough. Like how many wide receivers can legitimately get around the corner on cornerbacks often? I don't. That's why I worry about that. But if he's like a second receiver or third receiver somewhere, he could probably crush it. But
slot as a slot receiver?
Yeah.
Think about that. A slot receiver that gets it and turns something that's a 5-yard pass into something that's like 30 yards because he's that fat.
And that was like the funniest thing in that title game. You could just watch the Alabama offense. They were breaking around the corner, and I was watching with someone that's not even a football fan. I'm like, just look for that. As soon as that happens, you know Ohio State has no chance. Eventually, it's just all going to fall apart. And against that speed, it does. But how it translates to the pros is always my concern.
So speaking of big guys, there's two guys, like as a Giants fan, I want to see drop that are ends that are going to get after the quarterback. One is Gregory Rousseau from Miami, and then his one, Ray, is the kid that can't play football with your son. What are we talking about? What's his name? Kwity
Paye.
So they both get after the quarterback in different ways, right? Kwity Paye can kind of move inside more. He's a little bit bigger than Rousseau. Rousseau is a little bit longer, it seems to me, and he's more speed. But he's really good from the U. Brother Ray, who would you draft if you needed an edge rusher?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, this is a personal thing for me because I've seen Kwity Paye. I've met Kwity Paye. My son has played football with Kwity Paye at Bishop Hendricken High School, and you couldn't get a better person than Kwity Paye. And here's a guy that when he was at Hendricken, they had him at running back. He was the anchor of their 4x100 meter team. And you look at him today, he's 6'4", comfortable 275 to 280 with the ability to add more weight. His speed is tremendous. I heard one story where he was in gym class at Hendricken as a senior, and he used to run the 4x100, and he picked up the shot put, and during gym class, never threw a shot in his life, went out there and threw it, and came within 3 inches of the state record in gym class. So, I mean, this kid can do whatever he wants. As a freshman at Hendricken, he returned 3 kicks for touchdowns in the freshman championship game against LaSalle Academy. This kid is just, I mean, athletically, he has everything. And I think with him, the arrow is just pointed up. So with someone like him, he can play inside, he can play outside. He has the speed, he has the strength. Rousseau is more angular, he's taller. Probably not as physical as Kwity or strong as Kwity, but he's really good as far as your prototypical edge rusher.
He's he moves like a cornerback. I wouldn't even say a linebacker. He looks like a cornerback at times. He moves so quick for a guy that big, right? It looks like he doesn't know quite yet how fast he's gonna go. You know what I'm trying to say? He's almost like Daniel Jones, like fat, so fast where you fall down. You know what I mean? Genius, what do you think of those two? Because don't sleep on Rousseau. Rousseau is a beast. He gets after the right, brother. You're right. Oh, yeah. He gets after the quarterback like a monster on the edge. Yeah. I'm sorry to sleep on him.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you look at the two and you contrast them from what Brother Ray said, Mike, and then King, what you just said. Like Kwity Paye is 6'3", 6'4", 270. Rousseau is 6'7", 265.
So long.
A 670 edge rusher. That's humongous. I wonder if it was at the height where he might almost be. I don't want to say not too big, but he's going to be like a target. Sometimes being a super freak doesn't always work out. But if
he's got a lot of knee.
Like he's got to get really low because if you come in too high as an edge rusher, NFL tackles are gonna string you out. So he's gonna have to. I don't know what his technique is like. Murray, I don't know if you watch a lot of Miami football. I know you're a Dolphins fan, but is he really fundamentally sound? Like how long was he in college?
I mean, he's one of those guys where the motor sometimes runs faster on certain days than it does all the time. So the consistency isn't there yet. I mean, he's young, but when he gets ahead of his team to the quarterback, there's no stopping him. Once he gets the corner, it's pretty much over. He has a great ability to kind of get kind of come in on an angle and just get around that corner. He does have some issue with people getting to his legs and kind of getting him out of the play. I've seen him get washed out a couple of times.
But
So he does need to do a better job of setting the edge. But when you see it, I mean, it is special.
And he's, the characters, the guys that are like really happy and they're like characters. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's like gonna have his own shoe type character. He really is, and he's man. I think they're both two great ends. All right, so I just wanted to touch on that because as the season goes on, we're gonna talk about the draft, talk about free agency. Like it's already starting to shape up. The wide receiver class stinks when Allen Robinson looks like he's going to be the best available. Like it looks like he might be the best available. Like I get it, but really, like that's the best. You guys see that? Like isn't that disappointing? No, but no one. You're a Cowboy fan. No, like you don't need a wide receiver. Neither. Well, you do, brother Ray. The Dolphins could use one, just like the Giants need one. And there's only Allen Robinson. Like I'm not excited.
I would either at Robinson or Godwin. I mean, if they could pry Godwin away, I mean, Godwin is a find for any team out there.
Both small. Aren't they both small?
No. Godwin's over 6 feet. Godwin he can play on every level. I mean, he's productive on all levels. He's productive over the middle. He was injured this year, and there are a lot of mouths to feed in Tampa. But that kid has star potential. I would definitely go after him hard.
And Mike, there's a few others. I mean, Galladay, free agent, Juju, who I hate as a person, but he's only 24.
Slot.
Corey Davis. So you got a few out there. But I think Robinson, Godwin, Galladay, Juju, Corey Davis. I think that's 5 or so that are that can make an impact. I think.
All right, but as a Giants fan, right, we need to sign a number one wide receiver, and here's the type of receiver we need. We already have Sterling Shepard for the slot, right? Get rid of Golden Tate. Him and his wife can leave. You take Slayton. He becomes your number 2, which is what he is, right? He's a solid number 2 receiver. Runs his routes, goes deep. Bring in somebody that's 6 foot, the 6'2". Make him your number 1 on the outside, right? That's what we need. I can't have a little wide receiver. Giants don't need that. They need that tall number 1. So when you look at the class, who's really there? Like who would you think is that guy that's going to come in and be a number 1 in New York? Brother, right? Can you think of any free agents that are coming through? Because it's like, the crop isn't like, I don't know.
I mean, we talk about Stephon Diggs. But Stephon Diggs, I think, is a shade under 6 feet tall. I don't even think Stephon's 6 feet tall. If he's
not a free agent.
What's that? No, what I'm saying is, if you're just looking at size, I don't think that's the main denominator. You can get plenty of guys that are 6'3" that can't play a lick. I think they just need somebody, again, who
Daniel throws 50-50 balls.
Who can get deep, who can attack every level of the field. That's what you want in a true number 1 receiver. Someone who can take the game in their hands if they need to. Diggs can do that, at 6 feet, 5'11", whatever he is. Some of those guys that Genius mentioned, like a Corey Davis, I think on ability alone, he's a number 1, but all of these guys have warts, and his is staying on the field. I mean, he's in the tub most of the time. He's not on the field. So how can you invest the money in a number 1 if he's not going to be on the field?
Wait, really quick. All right, so if you have the Giants and you draft, you somehow move up and you draft, Waddle or Smith? Do they become the number 1 in New York? Can they be
Smith is the number one? There's no doubt. Not Waddle. Smith is the number one receiver.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Okay, Genius. Your thoughts
Yeah,
on
what about Galladay? Like Galladay fits everything you want. He's 6'4". He's vertical.
What's his age?
Let me see. He's 27.
That's perfect prime.
Yeah, so I think he's probably worth considering. But what Brother Ray said is right. I mean, I think Smith is going to be a number one receiver. So you had Smith, Slayton, Shepard. You probably need a new tight end. You get Barkley back. You have a pretty good set of weapons there.
It would be they need the number one so bad. It's that's why even looking in the draft, there's so many receivers. Like we could talk. I literally got about 12. That's how deep it is. It's ridiculous. So, the Giants definitely need that number one receiver. Everybody plays their role. So let's look ahead to the games. I just want to touch on them because what I want to do is I want to make sure we do a show on Saturday morning and we do a show on Sunday morning, both at 11 a.m., which will translate to being on for like 12 in real time. Because it takes me a while to produce that stuff. But we get games on Saturday and Sunday. So I just want to touch on them, just in case like you don't hear us again. I just want you to hear our thoughts. So I just want to hear your thoughts is what we'll call this kind of a segment. Brother Ray, we'll start with you first. The Rams are playing the Packers in Green Bay. What are your thoughts on that, Brother Ray?
I think this is actually a very interesting game. The Rams, again, I think last week they were the better coached team. This is going to be a good matchup. I think, the Rams defense, I think, does pose some issues for the Packers. But I mean, Green Bay, and what's funny is I think both their strategies would be, the Rams want to, establish the ground and pound, establish the rollouts, the quick rollouts, those short passes to the tight ends and their wideouts. But Rodgers can be explosive. So, Green Bay can play that game too with Jones and Dillon and ball control, but then Adams can break one for 40 and a touchdown. So that's what I'm looking at. I think you have to take the Packers at home. Looking at it right now, they're rested. I don't know. This is an interesting one. I wouldn't say it's a slam dunk, but I think you have to like Green Bay in this.
Genius, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, just sort of thoughts. I'll try not to repeat a lot of what Ray said because I think we agree kind of in the end. But thoughts. It's funny. I think everyone's looking at the same thing here. It's the Packers offense against the Rams defense. And I think the Packers have a little bit more. I think they'll pull it off. I mean, Devontae Adams against Ramsey is going to be phenomenal, but Packers will be patient. They're usually patient unless they're in a bad spot. So I don't think that will happen because the Rams offense just isn't very good. I mean, you got to worry about Akers. You got to worry with the run game. Packers are a little weak there, but I don't think the Rams are going to have enough. So I think the Rams are kind of going to be a sexy kind of trendy pick to make or something to talk about. I think in the end, when you have massive questions at quarterback, your coach isn't even confident in your starter who you're paying all that money to. I think the Packers will end up pulling it off. I don't think they're going to be denied, at least until the conference championship this year.
What's weird is if someone would have told you like 20 years ago that the name Devonta would be like normal or regular, like common. I mean, I don't mean to say normal. I meant common, like you hear it a lot. Like, would you believe them? Like Devonta, I hear Devonta all the time now, and it's like I thought there was only one guy named Devonta. No, that's like a name. Like, how did that 20 years ago, like maybe 25 years ago, probably, what was going on in pop culture that people naming the kid Devonta? Anybody have any idea on that? Because think about it. They're all around the same age right now. Devonta. How? How did they all get that name? So, this is off topic, but I once worked at a place where there were a girl, she signed up for something, and I am not lying when I tell this story because I love telling it. Her first name was Nyquilla, and it was spelled, and may God strike me dead if I'm lying. It's spelled capital N, small y, capital Q, UILA, Nyquilla. I actually asked her, how did you get the name? Like, what was the reasoning behind Nyquilla? You know, and she literally was like, the first thing my mom saw when I came out was the bottle of NyQuil, and she thought it was such a pretty name. She just added an A to the end. She liked the way that the Q was like capitalized, the big Q. The girl was named Nyquilla. Gentlemen, can we agree that that's like something that's almost abuse in a weird sort of way, right? You name your kid Nyquilla. Anyone?
I have nothing. I have no comment. I'm not. I can think of all the other things she could have seen. She's in a hospital. She could have seen a bedpan.
Right? You shouldn't name kids after products. You should put more thought into it than that. It's not like I don't like the name itself. I think it's a great name. I think that's genius. You know what I mean? To pull it all off and just add an A. But my point is, this should be a rule. You just can't look at products. There should be more thought put into it. I'm sorry. I'm not really sorry, but I am. I think Green Bay wins this. I think Green Bay runs through the Rams, if you want my honest opinion in this one, but whatever. Ravens and Bills. How do we feel about this? Because I feel like this might be the two best teams right now. Maybe. What do you think? Like, Brother Ray?
You know what? The Bills very easily, I mean, they should have lost that game last week, you know? That's what is scaring me now. I have them, I think, as the AFC representative, but I mean, that game scared me last week. I mean, the Colts.
But they're good. The Colts are good.
Colts should have won that game. And what's the formula that they had? Good running attack, good running back, solid defense. Look at the Ravens. I mean, they have multiple running backs that are good, and their defense is actually playing better now. I mean, it's they've stepped up the last couple of weeks. I'll tell you, I don't know if I'm 100% on this game yet. I want to go Buffalo, but that game last week gave me some pause. I'm going to go with Buffalo right now, but that could change by Saturday.
Genius, you got a quick take?
Quick take. Everything Brother Ray said. Plus, Buffalo scared me that Josh Allen taking that 20-something yard sack loss. He reminded me what he looked like in that Houston game last year, and that terrifies me too. So, like, the formula is out there. Baltimore's going to run them to death. But I still think I'm going to go. I'm with the Bills now. Also, I still don't think they have enough horsepower on offense to actually pull it off. If they get down 14, I think they're in trouble.
All right. So here's what I think with that, right? I honestly think that the Bills are showing signs of those teams that just get hot in the playoffs and it's destiny and they just go on to the Super Bowl. But we see it all the time. Teams get hot all of a sudden and they make that run. It's not like out of nowhere because they're there, but they just, for some reason, things fall their way. Literally, things just happen. That's how it kind of goes down. I still like the Bills to do that. Like, I still think the Bills are going to be that team. I don't know why. Even though I think the Ravens might be a better team right now, like as far as offense to offense, and you got to do who would you rather have? I'd rather have the Ravens offense. So I still like the Bills. I don't know what it is. You know, that's a weird one because you could easily talk me into the Ravens winning this game. Like that's the problem I would have with this one. You could easily talk me into the other way because it's kind of close to me. All right, so the other two games. To wrap this up, what do you guys think about the Browns playing the Chiefs? Just the fact that the Browns are there, I don't personally think that they, have enough firepower to sit with the Chiefs. However, what's weird enough, if there's a team that could beat the Chiefs, I think the Browns could be that team because they might try to mash them, and who knows, in a shootout, the Browns could pull something off. Which God knows I hate Baker Mayfield, so that's why I'm like, because, he said things about the New York Football Giants that can never be taken back, and I don't want to see him succeed. So what do you think about this, Brother Ray, this game right here? What do you think about these Browns?
I mean, I'll tell you what. It feels weird saying this, but I think the Browns could win this game. I think the Browns could go in there and win this game.
Good.
And it's kind because if you look at it and you say, oh, the Chiefs, high-powered offense, they're going to come out, they're going to blow them away. But then you look at what the Browns have and the formula, the way they would match up. You know, do you think Hunt wants to come out and prove something to the Chiefs this week? You think he's not going to come out motivated to want to run the ball down their throats and have Andy Reid watch that from the opposite sideline? They're playing with house money right now. They have to be the most relaxed team in the world. They got the monkey off their back. They got their first playoff win. First year in the playoffs since the 90s, since Bill Belichick was there. I mean, guys, if you look at the formula, all of the pressure is on the Chiefs in this game, all of it. I really love the Browns in the way they match up against the Chiefs.
I agree. Gene, you got a quick take?
Yeah, everything Brother Ray just said, I agree with, but it's a 10-point spread right now. I don't want to bet it, right? I really honestly don't bet it. The only thing I might consider doing is maybe a very small Cleveland money line play, because I think the other thing is most likely we all hate Kansas City. I think everyone wants the Browns to win, so maybe a small money line play, just so I have a rooting interest. But I'm not touching it as of yet, because because even that game against the Steelers, the Chiefs gave up 30-something points in a game they had well in hand, and Kansas City hasn't played for 2 weeks, so you can kind of see the beginning of it being a sloppy mess. And I wouldn't want to touch a 10-point spread in a game that I think is going to start off messy.
I understand that. It's an echo off one of your computers. I think it is. It's gone now. What do you guys think of the Bucs and the Saints? What do you think about Brady? What do you think about Brady? I mean, that's what it really comes down to. It's just like it's sigh. I told a story the other night, Brother Ray, about going out to dinner and sitting there with the wife and the family, and it starts to get kind of full, and then I start to notice a lot of Patriot shirts, and then I literally hear, like out of a movie, I hear one of the guys say to the bartender, "Can you put that on channel 10?" And they're like, "What?" He's like, "Can you put that on channel 10?" And then they put it on channel 10, and boom, here come the Buccaneers. And Brother Ray, Patriot fans. I yelled at them last time. I'm trying to stay calm, but here's what they did. They did, and they're still doing. All right, and then they shouldn't be allowed to do this. You gotta lose when your team loses. You gotta live with that, right? You're not allowed to go, I'm gonna root for Tommy. I'm just gonna go root for Tommy, and then they go root for Brady. They celebrate. They're celebrating, just like they did when the Patriots were in the Super Bowl. They refuse. They refuse to not have a product to root for. My God, it's not fair. It's not fair. Like, someone needs to call them on their bullshit. No one really knows about it, but people in this area. Like, you have to be in New England to know what's going on. And the fact is that all these New England Patriot fans are acting like they're Buccaneer fans. No. They got jerseys, for Christ.
Yeah.
Jerseys.
King, to cement that, I mean, my day job, I work in the media, and the sales packages that were out there for the NFL for Monday Night Football and Thursday Night Football, usually it's okay, let's capitalize on the Patriot games, because that's what the client really wants. They're interested in the Patriot games. This year, it was Patriot and Buccaneer games. That was the package. So what you're saying is completely correct. Brady is a bigger draw than the Patriots.
But they're not allowed to do that.
I agree. I can't stand it. It drives me crazy. I go on rants like that all the time. You can't. Your team is not the Bucs. You can't just because Brady, your team lost. Your team was 7-9. Your team's out of the playoffs. That's the end of story. It drives me nuts, Mike. It drives me nuts.
It invalidates their celebrations.
It does.
But you shouldn't celebrate so much if you're not gonna look. The Giants haven't won but maybe 10 games in 20 years. It's been forever. I gotta watch them win 4 games a year. That's the product that I've been living with for the last 4 years. And the Patriot fans, no. They get a losing season, but forget that. They actually have the balls. Yeah. Pretend like they're legit Bucs fans.
Yeah.
It's not like they're just rooting from afar. No. It's the same exact parties that they had a year ago. They didn't change anything but the team on the TV.
Yeah. They're
Why?
cheering, they're high-fiving, they're like hugging each other. I almost don't want the Bucks to win the Super Bowl just because of that, because it would be intolerable. I couldn't stand watching them. I couldn't take it.
And it's worse with Gronk. It's worse with Gronk. It is so much worse that Gronk is there. I can't tell you how much it makes it so much worse.
Oh, agreed. Yeah. But all that said, I think the Bucks win. I think they win this week.
It's not fair. Do you really? Well, brother, what do you think? You think the Bucks win? Oh, the Saints.
It is extremely difficult to beat a team 3 times in a season. I don't know what the stats are, Genius. You may have the stats on that, but I think the 3rd time, I really think the Buccaneers are going to do it. I think their defense is playing better now. I mean, the first 2 matchups, the Saints blew them out twice.
I like the Saints.
Yeah.
But it's tough to beat a team 3 times in a row in one season.
Yeah. The funny thing is, actually, the stats are the other way around. The stats, which is crazy, because everyone talks about it the same way you just described it. I thought the same thing, and I heard it earlier this week on a podcast. I'm just looking it up now. It's something like, since the 1970 merger, 13 of the teams won the third. It's happened 21 times, and 13 of those times the team that won the first 2 won the third, which is kind of crazy.
See, basically, some teams like a Brady, right, might be good because now he has 2 game tapes to watch.
Yeah,
certainly him. That's a good thing, right? But sometimes some teams just have that number. They just have that other team's number. There's just no way they're going to beat them. You know what I mean? They're superior.
Yeah. I mean, the tough thing about this one is, like, the Saints have all their weapons now. Michael Thomas is completely back, and he's healthy. You know, Kamara looks good. Latavius Murray looks good. They have Sanders. They have Cook. They have all their people. Everything's in place. I don't know. I just for some reason I think the Bucks overall probably have a more dynamic offense, and I think they're going to keep pressure on. And I just don't think Breeze has enough left in the tank. I think that's what it's going to come down to. He's going to be throwing 3-yard passes, and Brady's going to hit Antonio Brown, for something long, or he's going to hit Gronk down the seam for something big, and that's going to end up being the difference. That's what I'm saying right now. It's only a 3-point spread though, which is in Bucks are getting 3, so we'll see on Sunday when we actually break it down in more detail. But that's what I think right now.
Yeah. So basically, what is that sound? Hear that sound? Anyone else hear that? One of you guys, when you play me, I'm feeding back to myself, and I'm the only one hearing it. No, it's not now. It was before. So I wanted to wrap it up like this. We got to do one on Saturday morning to give you the final picks for the Saturday games, right? We'll come on around 11. I'll get it up before 12. It'll be on the site, legitfantasysports.com, legitfantasysports.com. When you see one of our YouTube videos, please hit the actual the thumbs up button, because that's it's involved with the what are those rhythms they talk about? Like how we end up in someone's feed, the biorhythms. What's the term?
Algorithm?
What?
Algorithm?
There it is.
Biorhythms. I like biorhythms better.
I'm like, biorhythms? I don't know what this shit means. I just know that when you hit the thumbs up thing, it increases our chance of us popping in people's when they talk about sports. And for when it comes to our picks, we are on lock. We've legitimately all been on streaks. Like, it's been like stupid. So we're not like we don't know what we're talking about. We actually do know what we're talking about. So if people hit that like button and people help us just hit, all you can do is hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, you know what I mean? And if you leave a comment, they actually they go by that, how many comments, say a channel gets. So please, we need people to help us do that kind of stupid stuff. I didn't realize how important it was, but it is. So we need the help. Also, right after this show, you're going to be seeing Legit Fantasy Basketball with TJ is the man when it comes to basketball. That's actually a great show. We're going to be doing that next. It'll be something that you can watch also tonight on the website. But again, it's legitfantasysports.com. Tell people you know about it. check out our picks. Go back, look at our back catalog. We are legit in what I'm saying. We have different shows with different nights. We do legit paranormal on Sunday nights with Buddy there. Genius, you can attest to this. It's been crazy Sunday nights.
That's a show. That's a show you want to watch. That is definitely a show you want to watch.
And so, I mean, we got a lot going on. So we just need everyone's help with the website. We need that word of mouth. It could be as much as, hey, you see those guys are doing this? Yeah, I didn't know about that. And you just can watch 5-10 minutes. Hit the goddamn thumbs up button. Give us that opportunity to spread this. So this is me, Mike Lepre. This is Legit Fantasy Football. Thank you, gentlemen. I will see you on Saturday morning for football. I hope to see you for basketball in about 5 minutes.
All right.
Have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
Legit
Good night.
Sports.